Good morning, folks. Welcome back to another vlog. On this episode, we are going to showcase a lot of the past work we've done on the Exoskeleton, as well as bring you up to speed on it. So we've been reading a lot of comments where people are asking, hey, what's going on with this build? And it's not because we haven't been doing any videotaping or any work on the truck. We have been, and we've been doing a lot of videotaping. That's for Damon Fryer, because he doesn't like the word videotaping, but I grew up in the 90s and that's what we call it. So live with it, bro. We're going to showcase a lot of past work over the last few weeks, as well as the new work that we're doing today on it. And it's really been non-stop for the last 5-6 weeks on this build. It's just that we haven't had a lot of content to show you. There's a lot of detail work. You know, spending an hour right here in this corner is tough to showcase. So you're talking week after week of something that doesn't look like you're getting much progression, but in reality we are. This week though, we are getting very close to pulling the Exoskeleton off. So we're gonna grab all that footage that we have, throw it into this episode so you can see some of the past footage, get you up to speed here, and then going forward, we're gonna have a lot more footage with the truck coming, getting disassembled and getting reassembled and built up. So let's check it out and see how she's coming along. So let's check this thing out. Week after week of crazy work. As you can see, Josh is busy doing the steps. It's mesmerizing, isn't it? Especially without glasses. Probably shouldn't be doing that, but I won't look at the light. How about that? But yeah, check this thing out. This thing is coming along really well. So huge advance on the back end of the truck. We did an exoskeleton for the spare tire. So I mean, who does an exoskeleton on top of an exoskeleton? We do. But it looks really cool. It's gonna be a swing out tire carrier, swings out this way. The tire is gonna be mounted obviously on the tire carrier. We're gonna have, I think right now we're talking about plating this area right here, maybe on the side, maybe not. We can also add in some jerry can carriers on the side here. Once we get some of this, the mounting structure done as far as where the pins are gonna go, then we'll figure out like how to accessorize the Exoskeleton tire carrier. But lots of cool options on that guy coming up. Steps, we're working on the steps right now. Here's a sample one. As you can see, we have the diamond plate on top, and it's gonna be fully boxed in. It doesn't have the box on the backside. Actually, is this scrap? Are you doing this one?
That one's scrap, yeah.
Okay, yeah, this angle's a little different, huh?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Is that hot? Can we pull that out of the vise?
It's very hot, I just welded that.
All right, you mind grabbing it then?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Just grab it with your hands, dude. That's why you have those gloves.
No, that's okay.
Safety
I'm sure you
gloves.
don't want to pay for that emergency room bill.
I always do. All right, cool. Let's check this thing out. So you can see why this thing has taken like so much time, week after week. I mean, this is fully hand built. He's welding it all together, fully boxed construction. You could literally do something where it's kind of cheap and quick, kind of down and dirty quick, like this. And it still would look good until you reach around and grab a hold of it and you're grabbing this 1/8" aluminum on your hand here. It's just not gonna have a nice feel to it. But this guy being fully boxed in, it's just much higher quality. So it's coming along. Cage is, half of it's all tigged up. We got a little problem on getting the lights in. We're kind of going back and forth with a couple different light companies right now, figuring that. We'll have that finalized here in a couple days. And then by that time, we'll be done with the steps, done with the bumpers. We still need to do the cutouts down here and the steps in here as well. We'll finalize this guy and then finalize the lights, and this thing comes off, gets TIG welded and out of here to powder coat, and then we'll wrap up the inside seating. So now that you guys are up to speed on the past work, let's go ahead and check in with the guys and see how they're doing. We got Albie as well as Josh working on the back tire carrier. So what's going on, guys? Where do we stand?
Alright, so right now we're working on mounting the tire to this sweet, badass tire carrier we're making so we can get a look at it without it on blocks. It's fantastic. Sorry.
You can't say.
Yeah, my bad. Anyway, we're working on getting this all thread right now. So we have a plate over here that has a large nut on it so you can adjust where the tire sits depending on the back spacing of the wheel and the tire size. So if you drop down, this is a 1550, so if you drop down to a 1350, you just thread this in further and it'll still sit snug against the tire carrier.
So that's pretty much a fully adjustable tire carrier. Customer decides to run 40s or 38s or 37s, it'll adjust obviously height wise because we are running the 40 initially, but also the width like Josh was talking about. Very simple, you just spin it in, adjust it in or out, so you have a lot more flexibility. All right, so we got the tire out of the way, we've got the tire carrier up here, so take a look at this guy. I wasn't sure how this was going to work, and Josh kept on hammering to like do a full length tire carrier that connects onto the ladder, so it goes from the passenger side to the driver's side, and I think it turned out really, really good. So yeah, good job, Josh, on that. So you can see this is just like kind of the exoskeleton of the exoskeleton tire carrier, so to speak. Yeah, it still doesn't have plates in here. We have racing plates. We're going to weld it in here on both sides. We're going to have another plate that covers across here that's probably going to be out of aluminum, down an 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch, just a cover plate, so it'll be kind of closed in across from left to right. There's going to be a dual pin design here with the pin, little T-pin comes out here as well as here, and then the tire carrier swings open. Cool thing about it is we've got Zerk fittings up here, grease fittings, that we can actually grease up this these two pivot points. And then here is the spindle mount that you can actually spin it in and out for that tire mount. And so it's fully adjustable on the width of the tire. Height of the tire isn't a factor because of the amount of room that we have here. We actually have another, what, like almost 3-4 inches below it too?
2.5 inches.
2.5?
Yes.
Okay, so that's another 4 inches. So you could run like 44-inch tires on this thing without it ever being a problem, at least for the spare.
Yeah.
It probably won't fit the rest of the truck, but the spare would fit. So earlier, you probably saw the ladders going in place over here. We actually have them in both left and right hand side and fully done too. So I think you may have seen just a couple of them that were fitted together, test fitting them and so forth. So now you can see the full extent of the steps themselves, which are really cool design, fully boxed in, steel construction. You can grab a hold of this thing, it's nice and feels really good in your hand, but it also gives you a solid platform to stand on. So we have wider footprints here that are, what is that, 4.5 inches wide or so?
4 inches.
4 inches. I'm off by like ½ inch today. Anyways, you got 4 inches here as opposed to just a small run across there. We have a wider stance, so you can really get your foot in here. What we don't have yet are the steps integrated into the bumper as well. But if you can imagine, we're gonna have a step here and then working your way all the way up. So getting up and down this thing is gonna be really easy. And also if you have friends, you can both climb up at the same time. I guess that's probably important. It looks cool though. So we have that set up. And then some other cool features that we'll go over in a second. All right, so we got the roof coming together. Something we haven't shown you is this design up here. We have full X pattern going across here, and this is going to be a fully utilitarian roof. We're actually going to deck all of this with aluminum. I'm not sure, probably be like 1/4 inch aluminum plating up here. And we're gonna, once we get this cage off the truck, we're gonna weld in some tabs along here and actually bolt down triangular aluminum decking in here. We're gonna check with the owner, see if he wants to go black or leave it aluminum. You can argue going back and forth. If you go black, it's gonna generate a little bit of heat, but again, the heat's gonna be off of the deck here, so it really won't make much of a difference at all. I think black would be the way to go, but then we'll be able to bolt these panels in here and you can literally walk across the entire roof area. We also have the search and rescue roof rack rails, so they're emulating our search and rescue roof rack that has this like slanted design that kind of comes out, allows you to put a lot more cargo up here, adds a little bit more width to a normal size basket roof rack. And then you of course have the open area in the front as well as the back. You can do a lot of cargo loading, put some canoes or kayaks or whatever you want to up there, lumber, fishing poles, I don't know, surf fishing poles.
You can camp up top.
You can camp up top, yeah.
Pitch a whole tent up there.
You can pitch your tent up here.
That's what she said.
Josh is going to be pitching his tent up here.
Yes.
One thing we haven't covered yet is the inside. So let's go ahead and jump down on the inside. We'll take a look at what we've done. Again, not a whole lot because we've been focusing on the exoskeleton, but we do have some progress while we're waiting for a couple sheets of metal to come in. We did get a little bit more work done on the seating, so let's go down below and take a look at that. All right guys, let's take a look at the inside of the truck. Reminder, this is a 6-passenger seating. That means 4 full seats going across the rear seating area, as well as the 2 front seats, driver and passenger. This guy also has a stretch seating, so that's another 9 inches of room for the original 2 seats. So we can do that on a normal truck, as long as it's a wagon. I guess a soft top, we'd have to figure out something across the back. But on the wagon, it makes sense. That gives you a full 9 inches of extra leg room. So Shaq, if you ever want to sit in the back of the truck, we got you covered. So let's take a look at the inside of this side. So this thing you can literally walk all the way through without a problem. Imagine you got your driver's seat's gonna stop right about here. You have all this incredible legroom, which is phenomenal. And that's the stretch seating here. And then of course you can see the walk-through cavity here is the 6-passenger seating. So we have the driveline tunnel right here. The fuel tank normally goes right across here, as well as exhaust system right through here. So we've had to reroute the exhaust system so it's nice and tight and wraps around. A lot more complicated bends, but it wraps around nice and tight up here. It doesn't hang out at all underneath the truck. You got your drive shaft here, and then your fuel tank. That was a big issue for us because we were trying not to lose fuel capacity. I think we lost like a gallon and a half or something like that. It's very minimal, but the way we accomplish that is we have a new fuel cell that goes down underneath, it comes back up here, and also goes across here. So the tank actually straddles these 2 compartments or these 2 seats across here, where normally a stock tank is just sitting right up here. It's just like a rectangle box. So now you can see kind of the amount of room here, the amount of leg space. If you're sitting over here, this is really the seat to be in because you have this kickboard across here. It gives you a tremendous amount of room. So you can see 4 grown men could sit back here without any issues at all. Even Sanderson can sit back here comfortably, which says a lot. So it's coming along nicely. All the main structure on the 6-passenger seating is just about done. The seats haven't been bolted, or the seat bases haven't been bolted in place, but that should take only a couple hours to do. The next big hurdle after the exoskeleton's done is the seats. They're gonna get fully reupholstered. Part of it's gonna be cut back. We're gonna shave this down a little bit, get a little bit more room here. You can see it's a little bit tight right here because you're almost sitting behind it by, let's say, half an inch or so. So we're gonna shave off a little bit of the seats here and then reupholster all the seats. The interior, most of it's upholstered except for this area right here. That still needs to be wrapped up. And then we're talking paint job and put all the parts back on and we're done. So definitely by Christmas time we should have this build just about wrapped up. It's gonna be a phenomenal build and hopefully they enjoy it for Christmas. So stay tuned, folks. We have a lot more footage coming up on this build up. May skip this next coming vlog, but the one after it, we'll have some more footage on this truck. Thanks for watching. Definitely appreciate it. And we'll see you guys soon. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Thanks, folks.